2 of VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica, and this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday. We are getting close to the end of May. Unbelievable. It is the 28th. I think there's 31 days, right? We have 3 more days, I believe, of May. And then we're going to be moving right into June, July, August, right in these summer months. And if you follow the cyclical nature of our business, I will admit that things are so different today. It's hard to determine whether or not things are going to follow the same cyclical nature they usually do. But, most of the time we begin to ramp up even more so as we go through the summer months and getting on to the holiday months, if you will, the fall and winter and Christmas season. So hopefully, that will help business pick up for some of us. But anyways, I'm excited about today's topic. We are going to be diving into a 3-step plan to grow your voiceover business, a simple 3-step plan that I like to kind of run my entire voiceover business around. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is because I've had a wonderful boost, I think, of people joining the Faceover group, the Facebook group, VO's Journey Facebook group. And one of the things that you do when you have to join the group is I just ask 2 or 3 simple questions, kind of like what's your most pressing question you have for your voiceover business, etc. And one of the things the question or the answer I get by far the most is always, how do I get more business? How do I grow my business by getting more business? How do I become a better marketer? How do I grow my business? By the way, if you hear banging, I'm having work done underneath the house. So we're getting the underneath my house encapsulated because it's an older house, and I think it's for like 50 or 60 years. There's been no insulation underneath the house, so I'm working on have some people working on that. So I apologize if you hear banging and stuff. But anyways, it is one of those things where so many people also ask me not only how do I get business, but how do I start from the sense of how do I navigate the steps of my business? Where do I go? Where do I begin? But then where do I? Is there a trajectory? You know what I mean? Is there kind of like a B, C? So I kind of put 3 things together that I follow when growing my business, and I want to share them with you. And this is the kind of things that I do, and I work with my students, my VO students with, and these are things that we plan out and map out. But let's go ahead and dive into these 3 steps. And these are 3 steps. This is an overview of the 3 steps that I have taken myself. And I'm currently on my 3rd step of this process and working hard with that. And I'll run you through these steps. So the first step that I recommend and that I did was build out my offerings on freelance websites. Okay, so if you're just starting or you're kicking off your journey as a voiceover artist, the very first thing you want to do, okay, now I'm assuming, okay, so this is a big assumption, but I'm assuming that you are ready to record. Okay, so I guess if we had a 0.5 here, it would be, before 1, that you got to be ready to record and put out a high quality product, right? So there's that. But if you are there, you're ready to record, you have your mic and your space is all set up, the first thing you want to do is you want to get yourself onto these platforms, these freelance platforms. There are some P2P platforms like the Voice Realm that I like. Now, I know there's people in other countries who have differing opinions about the Voice Realm, but it's done well for me. So I like the Voice Realm as a pay-to-play site more so than maybe voices.com or something like that, where it's overwhelming. But you want to get on sites like Fiverr and sites like Upwork and People Per Hour and Voiver and Voquint, and you want to get on these freelance sites. Okay. Now we'll talk about a site like Voquint in a second, but that's the very first thing you do. And the reason why you do this, okay, as opposed to you going out and doing all these other things, is because on this side, there's no way that you and I could ever leverage what these big sites can do. Okay, meaning like we can't reach as many people that these big sites can reach. They just have far too much money, far too much reach, far too much domain authority, right, on Google and stuff. I mean, we just can't beat that, right? So that's the first thing you need to do. You got to get on these websites for your business. You got to be on these websites, at least 10. At least get yourself on 10 websites, okay? The next thing that you want to do after you get yourself set up on these, and I'm talking like with samples, your descriptions, your headshots, all that goes onto these sites, right? After that, then we move on to the second phase. Now, the second phase, all right, we are going to now venture out and beginning to send emails, targeted emails, beginning to do phone calls. We are beginning to work with intermediaries, companies like Voice Jungle, Voquent. Even though Voquent is free and you can get on there pretty easily, they are more of like an intermediary, almost like a non-exclusive agencies. All right, this is the phase where you start branching out and looking for representation, not exclusive representation. Now, listen, I mean, you can do whatever you want, right? It's your business, but I don't recommend exclusive representation because, and again, this is all my opinion, because remember, if you are exclusively represented, you are off the market beyond what your agent decides, right? You can't get your own business. You have to live and die by what they do. And that's, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I don't, I like more of a freedom approach. You know what I mean? I like to kind of get my own business. So that's the second phase. We begin to branch out off of these sites. You're still on these sites. And the reason why, again, we started there is to build up your business, start making some money. ACX is another site for step one. All right, step two, we're starting to make phone calls. We're starting to send emails. We're starting to look for non-exclusive representation, working with production companies, with intermediaries like Voice Jungle, like Voice Bunny. These are places basically that you join. A lot of times you have to audition or you have to bug them a lot to get onto these platforms. But what they do that's different than like Fiverr, for example, is that they actually deal with the customer themselves. And then they pass the work to us. We do the work, give it back to them, and then they give it to the customer. Okay? Do you understand? There's an intermediary and then there's actual person. Whereas Fiverr, it's actually more like just an algorithm, right? We pay for the algorithm and we pay for the marketing. Whereas an intermediary, you know what I mean? We pay for the marketing and we pay for the person who deals directly with the customer. Does that make sense? So it's different. Just like a non-exclusive agent who deals directly with the customer, they find the customers, the auditions for you, et cetera, et cetera. All right, that's step two. Step three is we move on to your website. Now, I don't want to make it sound like you shouldn't put up a website until you get to step three, but I'll be honest with you. Let me go into step three, and then I'll tell you why I think that you might not need a website until you are ready to do this. Because on step three, which is what I've been working hard on for the last year or so, is really building out a full optimized website that, you know, is more than just your services as a voiceover artist. We've been told that we need a one-page website, and that's not a bad thing to have a place online that someone could go and listen to your stuff. But the reality is that, you know, no one is ever going to find your one-page website, right? We know that. So in order to build that out, we've got to add a blog. We've got to add more content, right? We've got to add updates. We've got to add news or equipment or, different types of things. Maybe you offer quick turnaround stuff. Maybe you offer meditations for sale. Maybe you offer DJ drop. Maybe you offer more on your website, right? You become your own entity. Because the reality is that, and that's why this is the last step, because it honestly takes the longest. To build out your website and to, grow it and actually be found on Google, Okay. And a lot of times what happens what happens to me more and more now, it's happening a lot, is that people are finding me on Voices, Voice123, Voices.com, Voquent. They're finding me on all these sites, even Fiverr, and then they search for me. A lot of times it doesn't work through Fiverr because when I set up my Fiverr account years ago, I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't use my actual name. I wish I could have used my name, but I didn't. But anyways, the point is that I get found, in Google from people typing in my name because they found me on another site and they want to work with me directly. That happens more the more you get yourself out there, right? And the more that you're doing that, they can actually find you. But you have to then, when they find you, you've got to inspire them by a fully done, professional looking website. And again, most people, and let's be honest and think of yourself. And this is why your website's step 3. Most people do not want to call you and talk to you and get to know you and talk on the phone and debate about price. They don't want to do that. They want to go to your website, purchase from you directly from your website. Most of us, we're nowhere near that option. I decided a while ago that I was going to try to switch myself as I was building out my website and getting into this last phase here of my master plan, that, I needed to create a site that would allow people to purchase on my site like they can on Fiverr or through Upwork or Voice123. They can book you through there. They can book you through Voices.com. They can book you through all of these sites. But most of our websites, our personal sites, they can't book us. They've got to email us. They've got to there's a contact form. Then we have to send them some, PayPal or some sort of invoice. A lot of times I work with people who are like, they want to work with me. I don't even know how do I take money from them, right? Like these are things that eliminate our success or our availability to more business. Okay, and we have to solve that for people. So that's why I've left that on stage 3. So listen, this is it's a short video today because I don't think there's really much more to be said about this 3-step process. Can we go into each one of these steps a little further, like with the sites? Yes, I recently published, and I'll put a link below of the 10 websites that I recommend, if you will, to get started on. And then after that, once you get on there, and when I mean started on these sites, I mean you're fully getting yourselves integrated into them. The best headshot you can get, the best thumbnails, the best descriptions, the very best demos or samples that you can do. Everything is decked out. All your profile, your accounts are filled out as much as possible. You submitted so many samples, they're asking you to please stop because it's crashing their system. That's how much you want to do to these sites, right? Because the more you put out there, the more opportunity people have to find you. Then after that, then we move on to the second phase, right? We move on to the emailing and the phone calling. See, and the reason why we don't do the emailing and the phone calling massively for the med is because for overall is because, and this is just my personal experience, and there probably be some people who say that they've had some luck with this, but the reality is unless you are able to do hundreds and hundreds of emails a day, this is my personal opinion based on years of trying emails and phone calls and working with people to do them for me and all that. I mean, you're going to have not a lot of success. So you go into emails and phone calls looking to narrow target focus, not doing just random ones, right? Focusing in on specific ones, right? So that's something that I would recommend. I love Joe Rowan. I'm trying to think who that is. Joe Rowan. I wasn't paying attention. I just saw that popped up, Dancing Wheels. Joe Rogan. Oh, okay. The idea, again, is to narrow focus that, but don't use that, as much anymore, because I'll ask you this question. Do you buy from email? I don't. Now, do I get emails and people's logo pops up and stuff? Yeah, so that does keep me aware of them until I unsubscribe, but I don't buy anything through emails anymore. I go online and I buy. So with that in mind, instead of sending emails to have people buy from you on the email, you send emails just like social media marketing, to keep people remembering you and recognizing your brand or your name, right? That's what because you don't forget. This marketing game is just as much as people seeing you over and over again as it is you getting a sale right that one time. Okay. So that's important. That's important. So if you switch your mindset with marketing, emails, and sales more towards you trying to make a sale when you call or send an email to, you are just reminding them that you are there, either by a newsletter, either by some interesting information that's happening, some new cool job you did. You're just reminding people that you're there and you're available. Okay. The intermediaries, again, that is you beginning to get representation that's outside of these freelance websites where people are actively looking for work for you. You know me, I don't like to audition. I like to put out samples. I like to use leverage for other people to bring me work. Okay. It's how I'm able to do a lot of work in a short period of time without me having to do all of the marketing legwork that a lot of people think would go with it, because I'm leveraging all of these things. And then the last thing, again, is getting your website built out. And if you want to know why Fiverr or Voices.com or any of these sites are getting loads of traffic and customers coming to their sites looking for voiceovers, and my suggestion to you is you compare, and this is out of love, but you compare your website with those websites, and you will see. And I'm not just talking about the fact that there's, tens of thousands of voice actors on there. I'm talking about the site as a whole, like how much it's built out. It's not one page, okay? It's thousands of pages of stuff. There's blogs. There's so much content, right? And the algorithms on Google and Bing and all these different sites, these different search engines love it, and that's how they're found. So on the third phase, when you build out your site, it's got to be more than just a one page. You're not going to get any work through that. And if you're getting tons of work through your website, you are amazing if you have one page. But I guarantee you, because I got nothing for years through my one page website, I imagine you might be having a similar thing. There was one time where I actually remember I was in a Facebook group years ago, and, there was this big thing about, I got to make my site look good. And, it's just one simple page. I literally went around and I started asking people, I actually said this, does anyone get any business from their website? Okay. And of course, I got a few answers like, well, no, I send people there, but no one had gotten one job through their website. And, now since I've changed my website around, and Anthony Picavio, and there's different types of offerings and you can actually purchase from there, I'm getting not a lot, but I get at least 2 to 3 purchases a month directly through my website. Now, that's not a lot, but what that tells me is that if I can get 2 to 3, that means I can get 3 to 6, 6 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 15, I can get more work. And those are people directly purchasing through my website. So that's the 3-step approach that I've taken. I work with, my VO students on diving into each one of those. And I recommend for you, if you are trying to have an actual path to success, if you will, or path to making this business work, right now, in our day and age, not years ago, all right, not 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, but right now, okay, right now, this is the time that this type of stuff is working, okay, right today, because I'm living it, so many of you are living it, we should talk about it. All right, so if you've got any question, comments, you know me, I love to chat. So I'm going to go over here to the board. Looks like we've got some awesome people as always. Let's see, Jay. What's up, Jay? We got Zach. Hello, my man, Zach. We got Facebook. Oh, Sam in London. What's up, Sam? How are you? We've got Clint. What's up? We've got, hello, good to be here. I'm not sure who that is because it just says a Facebook user. I don't know if that's still Sam, but we've got Angela. Hello, Angela. Howdy, Joseph. What's up? We've got Lazarus. What's up? Dancing Wheels, right? Okay. Just realized you sound a little like Joe Rogan. Now I understand Joe Rogan. Do I really? I don't know. Joseph, something I can relate to. I've been a web designer for 10 years and I'm taking the steps to be a voice talent, which has been a long dream of mine. Awesome, Joseph. Well, welcome, man. This is welcome to the game. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Joseph says posting to your website blog and then sharing that post to your socials is a powerful way to attract attention. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, this is also, we didn't talk about it, but, when you get to that website phase or when you get to these things, putting links in your blog post, you know what I mean? That not only helps people find your direct them back to your page, like your offerings, but it also helps your site build even more authority. And, we could talk about backlinks from other sites at a different time because there is SEO that goes into this. But see, that's why that's the last phase, because did you guys notice that 0.5, I talked about this in the beginning, right? 0.5 was when I talked about being able to put a good voiceover together. But the rest of this had nothing to do with actual acting. It had to do with how well do you run an online business? How well can you find work online and leverage websites, leverage what's working and the attention of people? I have a group called the Fiverr Elite Group, and we meet every Saturday morning. There's over 60 of us. We've got lots of top-rated sellers in that group. It's a lot of fun. And, the whole point of that group is to help each other grow our Fiverr businesses. Anyways, I bring it up because we were reading an article that Fiverr had published, because, Fiverr is a publicly traded company, and they had published about their number one, like the searches that people are searching over the last 6 months, what's been like the number one thing that's searched, et cetera, because they got a lot of data, right, because they're a machine. And, things like TikTok was number one. All right. And that data is so vital to us, because if you're not on TikTok, if you're not following the eyeballs about where people are going, all right, you're going to be forgotten. You're not even you won't even be found. You won't be forgotten. You won't even be known. Okay. So these things, that's why being on these sites, being a part of social media platforms like TikTok, figuring out how to get known in these places, okay, this is how you get work today. Is there other ways that I didn't mention? Absolutely. I didn't talk about exclusive agents, where you can be exclusively represented. I didn't really talk about that. I didn't talk about big casting agencies or anything like that, because honestly speaking, for myself and the majority of us, it's not going to bring us the level of work right now that we would like. Like, I want you to be able to grow your business in the next year, 2, 3 years, and not wait 15 or 20 years. And I know people are, and I'm not talking, no, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about next, like tomorrow you're going to get loads of work. Okay, or even you're going to be bringing in work and tons of work in a year. But what I'm talking about is at the level at which the market is moving and how fast these sites work. It is not unrealistic to think that you can start getting paid for voiceover services fairly quickly if you know what you're doing when it comes to voiceover work, like actually putting out a good product. That's only if you're leveraging these sites correctly, and most people don't. And that's why I'm talking about this with you, okay? I went off on that one. I don't know. So let's see. Hey, hi, Anthony. Maybe, oh, wait. Nick says, hey, well, what's up, Nick? Hi, Anthony. Maybe run a poll again in the VO Journey group again. See if it's changed. I never got anything from my website. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guarantee you we should run a poll. I will. I'll put a poll up in our Facebook group to see if anybody is getting directly booked through their website. Okay, somebody finds them through their website that they've never heard of before and books them. Okay, I will definitely put a poll up, and I guarantee you, Nick, I bet 99.99% of everybody is just like you. And that was me too, until about 3 to 4 months ago, when I changed around my entire voiceover website to mimic the sites like Fiverr and like Upwork and like Voice123, like Voice Jungle, to mimic these sites that people are going to. And mimicking means like trying to give options. Like, people can actually go to my site and buy on my site. They can pay through pay. There's a place for them. If you haven't been to my Anthony Pica VO, they can go to my site and actually buy on my site. They click on a button. It takes them to another page where they pay right there. They submit their directions and their script, and it goes. That's all they got to do. And I deliver it to them within 24 hours or depending on, how long the script is. I never offered that. And honestly speaking, between us, Nick, I've never seen any other voice talent do that on their particular website. Now, I'm sure maybe some other talent is doing that, but I've never seen any other talent do it. So some of my students, I'm starting to work with them to do that on their sites. But I'm telling you, if that's how all of these sites are doing it, shouldn't we be doing that too if we want to get business through our website? So all I can say is proof's in the pudding. I'm not getting hundreds of voiceovers right, today through my website. But the fact that I'm getting a couple now a month through my website that had never happened before, it's like, right? It's exciting. All right. Anyways, absolutely, Nick. I think that's a great idea. What's up, Alan? Let's see. Hi from Madagascar. Hey, what's up? It's my first time here. Great advice. Thank you so much. Welcome. I've never been to Madagascar, and I've always wanted to go. So that's awesome. Hey, Anthony and all. What's up, Ed? Tania's here from Cleveland. What's up? I'm assuming that's what that means. Cervantes, yeah, new subscriber here. You may have covered this, but I haven't seen it yet. What advice do you have for someone that doesn't know anything about the VO business but would like to get into it? Thanks. Well, I'm glad that was, I don't know if you were listening and if to move back to the beginning of this, but that would be the marketing plan. Also, on my website, vosjourney.com. Now, mind you, Anthony Pica VO is a part of a VO's Journey. I incorporated that all, and now it's 2 domains. I'm just telling you about how my business works. I have 2 domains, Anthony Pica VO, but I have that redirected to a VO's Journey. Okay, so that I use that platform and everything for my actual site. Now, does that probably affect me in the rankings? Maybe, but doesn't seem to. It still comes up if you type in Anthony Pica VO. So there's nothing, or Anthony Pica. You can find it, and you can find it on a VO's Journey. But anyways, what I was saying was that if you go to a VO's Journey, you can see that. Or wait, what is it? I lost my train of thought here. What advice do you have someone who doesn't know? So again, that's the marketing plan. And I was saying in the equipment store, I just put up a link to a book that I recommend called The One-Page Marketing Plan, because, we know marketing plans can be hundreds of pages and they never get completed. But if you narrow it down to that kind of simple plan I just gave you for marketing, all right, that's a great way to get started on the marketing side. Now, when it comes to equipment, right? You've got to get your equipment. You've got to make sure your space is appropriately treated and everything. And then you have to make sure that you can deliver a voiceover from beginning to end that is professional quality, meaning that someone is willing to pay you for that voiceover. Okay. And yes, if you are just beginning and never done voiceover work, that in itself is a challenge. Okay, so that's really the first thing that you've got to do, of course. And this marketing plan is a marketing plan, not your production plan. Production plan would be separate. All right, so that's really where you start first, then the marketing plan from there. I hope that helps. Don, have you thought about offering a course on how to grow and operate your business? I've actually thought about it, Don, and I was trying to think about. It's funny because I offer coaching, I offer one-on-ones, I have group, I have the Fiverr Elite group, I have my mentorship group, I have different courses on platforms, but I've never built a course on growing your business. And I honestly believe that's been one of the biggest reasons, knock on wood, that I've been fortunate enough to have some success in this business. So that's a really good thing. I should put something together, I think, about that idea. Thanks, Don. I appreciate that. Yeah. Stay tuned, right? Frank, what's up, Frank? It's good to have you. Facebook from Madagascar. Oh, wait. Yep. Hi, Anthony. This is, is it Gail? Cool. I think that's, if I said it wrong, I apologize. It's my first time here. Great content. Awesome. Thank you very much. Frank, I'm still smoking from the hot seat from the elite group. That was the best information and advice ever. Thanks again, Anthony. You're the best. Thank you, Frank. I really appreciate that. I love that group. The Fiverr Elite group is incredible. A lot of amazing people in that group and awesome information every week. We really, and we do reviews of people's gigs and things to help them do better. And it's really, really a great resource. Well, hey, everybody, listen, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Please stay healthy and safe as always. I will go ahead and put the links to a bunch of these things like the Elite Group, like my website and stuff if you want to go check it out and look at it, and all this kind of stuff. But just note that marketing plan, right? Starting first with getting yourself on at least 10, freelance P2P sites where you are leveraging your samples, not auditions. I'm not talking about going on these sites and auditioning like crazy. You know me, I don't like to audition because I think it's a waste of time to spend all of that time. Now, remember, we're in a different world today. If you were to talk to me like 10, 20 years ago, and I, even in the theater, right, I would say, well, that's ridiculous. You have to audition. That's the job. All right. And if someone sends me a private audition, a personal one, like just for me, I'll do it. But nowadays, it's too much work to constantly audition in the hopes that one person listens to it and then out of 100 other people who have auditioned decides to work with you. That is horrible odds. And fortunately, we don't have to live in that world anymore, but so many people still are. Okay, so I hope to, at least if anything, move you over a little bit to say, hey, maybe I shouldn't do as much auditioning and do a little bit more putting samples out there of the work that I do. Okay, because where one person would hear my audition, samples could have thousands of people hear it. Okay. Let's see. Oscar says, hey, Anthony, a new seller with only 6 reviews in on the front page of Fiverr. Cool. But a seller like me isn't. Oh, any idea why this could be the case? So you're 6 reviews and you're on the front page, but a seller like me isn't. Oh, you're talking about somebody else. Okay, so Fiverr randomly, we're talking about Fiverr, right? Fiverr randomly promotes new talent. Okay, and they're also running a thing right now, and we talked about, if you go back a couple episodes, some Fiverr Fridays, talked about, I think actually it wasn't a Fiverr Friday, it was a Thursday that this information came out about Fiverr offering a pay-per-click option, okay, and that's another video that we did last week, maybe last week or the week before, and you might actually be seeing some of the people who are in that beta testing program who are getting to the front page because they're Fiverr's beta testing it. So that could be it too. But it's also something that Fiverr does. Did it say rising talent on it? If it said rising talent, that's one thing. But Fiverr did add, I've noticed, they've added a second section. So there's 2 rows on Fiverr now that have new sellers on them completely. So that could be it. But Fiverr does try to rotate new people, okay, so that everybody on Fiverr gets a chance too. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Jerry says, hey, what's up? Watching from New Mexico. Yes, it is a state. I hear that, Jerry. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your time and all of your support. As always, if you have any more questions, just hit them in the comments on the YouTube page or Facebook. Nick, I'm definitely going to post that in the group. I think that would be a great survey to put how many people have actually gotten work through their websites. And other than that, thank you guys so much. Stay safe, and I will talk to you soon. All right. Goodbye.